And the concept of the movie was cold as shit, but I didn't feel like they executed it very well. But to that end, everybody has a perspective. You see what I'm saying? Now, should her perspective be put out there? Yeah, I think it should be put out there, but I also don't think it should be necessarily taken as the gospel. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think anybody's perspective necessarily should be taken as the gospel.
I don't think anyone would. I don't think anyone would.
Right. I agree with that, but you never know.
It's a New York City play, so it's pretty expensive, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, right. Yeah. So here we go. There's profits being made off of a disastrous history of some type, and just who are the profits going to? That's all I want to know. And then that tells me whether or not, I say,
I would have to look that up, and I think that that's a valid point as well. But I don't think that that's the issue. I think the only issue was that it was written by a white person. And it kind of like, we talked about artists, and you said something earlier about artists like doing different roles and things of that nature. Or like wearing different hats and everything and different perspectives. And someone came out this week and they were like, yeah, listen, Andrew Garfield was the guy. I saw the quote real quick. He was like, if we're going to start, that's what acting is. Acting is playing different people in different roles. So are we going to stop all different people from doing that? And it kind of cuts both ways because, for example, we all know that Sam Jackson right now is Nick Fury. But in a comic book, he was white as the motherfucker.
Right.
But Sam Jackson is Nick Fury. So are we going to start, are we really going to keep nitpicking these different things, especially the arts? Who's supposed to tell you how you identify? Unless you're swimming. If you're swimming, then I guess you can identify as anything.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to win, I got to tell you what, I don't know what
country was that in?
Only if you're a white boy swimmer.
Well,
what country was that in?
That's in the U.S. With the swimmer?
I'm sorry, what state?
The swimming?
What state was that event that he broke, that he shattered all the records and shit?
I think that was the Nationals or something, Collegiate Nationals. I don't know.
Collegiate sport.
Yeah. Or what? I don't know. I don't know how he identifies, or how that person.
Well, you got to identify as a female.
Yeah. So she. She. What? Nothing.
Like there's been this little viral thing going around with this white dude is on Dr. Phil or something talking, saying we don't get to pick our pronouns and we don't get to pick our adjectives.
Yeah, I get that.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Even though he's saying that, after listening to the science behind it, that's the only thing I'll say to that is that. We don't get to pick our pronouns because there's only two available, but according to the science, there's more combinations than two.
Okay.
Y, X, Y, whatever, the different crazy stuff they see, and as high as 9%? There's some variation, like it's really common or even higher or something, I don't know. But so you can say that against the argument that the two classifications are bad, but since we have the two classifications, until there are more lanes, if you would, how is it right to force,
biological women
with the limited, so to speak?
Right. People who are born biologically women have a transgender Olympics. That's the only way you can really have it be fair. You have to get more people competing. This transcends your identity. If you want to identify as something or you want to go out in the streets, that's something different. But when you're competing with people in a sport, that's a whole other level. You don't want to separate things, but they are actually separate. They're two different things. One is a competition.
Yeah, I like the Dave Chappelle, LeBron James example too. He said, let's just say LeBron, wanted to cross over, be a woman. I'm paraphrasing. He said, what are we supposed to say? Nothing when he scores 850 points a game? And I'm messing it up, but I'm telling you, man, he said some shit like that. It was hilarious, man.
Right. People would be upset with that. They would see it as it's not really a personal thing. I mean, he really wanted to win badly.
Yeah, it's a no. You know what, man? It's like, look, man. Where exactly? I guess there is no line anymore because it doesn't even make sense for someone who. Oh, and then they had a comparison. The lady that I just told you about. I don't want to mess up her name, so I'm gonna look at it. They had another swimmer that they thought had too much testosterone for a woman. I think is what it is. She was a black woman out of South Africa, and then I think she was banned from the Olympics or something. But I don't know if there are other specifics that kind of debunk that. So I haven't really read it that much, but I did see a glimpse of it. And but now I guess it's a false title. It should be showing how shit has changed from then to now, supposedly, and what the circumstances are around the change. But it's kind of comparing the two. But the Olympics ain't the same stage that this dude this white trans just won on this stage.
I just think that what they're doing is they're making it unfair. They're making it unfair for women who compete in sports. They're making it unfair. If any man can biologically go and change and be able to compete in the sport as a woman, he's always that person who changed over is always going to have a physical advantage. Like, I consider myself to be an ally, but I'm just not with y'all on this one. I can't.
I got a solution, man. I'm telling you, I got a solution.
What's that?
They should weigh out like the percentage of the difference in strength. And all of them are individual case basis, right? They should weigh out the difference, right? And then make an acceptable, according to the difference, an acceptable adjustment. Like
handicap.
The average person, no, I'm saying the average adjustment would be like they had to cut like the right Achilles, you know what I'm saying? A clean wait for it to heal. You can compete with them now, you know what I'm saying? This dude right here, if it's a shot put or something like that, you might have to get, hang from some yank machine and get your arm dislocated 10 times back to back. You know what I'm saying? You got to heal. Now you can compete with the women's shot put. I mean, nothing like that can make this work.
Yeah.
But once you open this up, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You know what I mean? So if you open it up to where a trans can, I identify as a woman and I can use a woman's bathroom, and then I can say whatever and identify as anything and get the benefits of being whatever I decide I'm going to identify as. You can't shut it down when it comes to sports. You know what I mean? You getting what you asked for. If this is the road that you want to go down, and it's always good at the inception. You see what I'm saying? Because nobody's looking at the consequences for 10, 15 years down the line. But now that they open that door, and now, there's a demand for, rights, being a transgender, and they want to compete in sports and they want to do whatever. So they got the right to compete. You can't stop them from competing. Now, if you're going to make some other shit for them, that's one thing. But if you let this person identify as a woman and he got to compete in women's sports, or she has to compete in women's sports, then you got to just let that be what it is.
Well, I have to say that creating a Special Olympics for transgender people, or a Special Olympics version for transgender people, that alone, I already see people like coming. I'm probably gonna have to edit all of this out.
What's the percentage of transgender people in the world? You see what I'm saying? Because
they might say something like 12% or some shit.
Right. But like in the Ukraine, right? In the Ukraine, if you identify as a woman, they ain't letting you get out the country. You got to stand and fight, because just because you identify as a woman, it's wartime, motherfucker. We ain't identifying you as a woman.
We ain't going for the old flat foot.
Right. That's
fuck that. We're not going for the shin splits.
Yeah. Get your ass over here and
get your ass over here.
Grab a gun. So, I mean, I'm saying, these things it's fluid. You know what I mean? There is no right or wrong. I mean, do I think it's bogus that this former dude is competing against these women and beating the snot out of them? Yeah, I think it's unfair, but at the same time, I also don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's always what it...
Unless I lost money on it.
Right, exactly. Y'all know my stance.
Let me tell you.
Y'all know my stance.
If she's racing and you bet on, and you're betting to win, and you bet on anyone else, you deserve to lose your money. That's what it is.
Right. Oh no!
If you lose money, you
hold on. If he changed his name to Helga or some shit like that, you might just think, oh, this is somebody made it the last minute. You don't even know who this is. Till he just does past everybody and everything. Like, the bio said, oh, hell no, he used to have balls.
These scenarios, they're not working. They're not working. Like I said, this
episode is going to be like 3 minutes.
Yeah, this is extreme. Yeah, let me tell you something. This is extremely funny, but extremely inappropriate. So it's like, I'm pretty much like, what I'm going to do is what we're...
Dave Chappelle can make money off of it, but we can't.
No, we can't. No, man. Listen, man.
Listen, I stand in my truth. I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you, bro.
Me too.
Proud of you, bro. Yeah, but I see a very liberal chop coming to this one.
Nah, let it ride, son. Let it ride.
But keep the material in a vault.
Yeah. There's going to be, listen, this, I'm going to say this because this part is not, I'm just going to say we're going to change the subject from this point on. And I want this to make it onto the show. But let me just tell you, when I die, you know how people say delete my browser history and everything?
Right.
There's going to be a treasure trove of stuff, and it's probably going to reach both of you guys. It's going to reach both of you in the mail, and it's going to be like, what was that movie with Sam Jackson? He's made the show twice today. Wait, Glass and everything. When they put it out there in the world, after he was dead, after I'm gone, all the inappropriate stuff, so that way they can line up and spit on my grave.
So you mean to tell me, right, we can sit here and endure the decades and decades long of shit that was done to black people and stuff, and we seen it and everything else, and laugh about it and everything else, but we have to size up when it comes to putting it on somebody else, just being oppressed like us.
Basically,
what?
Basically, yeah. It doesn't make sense. It really but it really doesn't.
I'm sorry. What do they call it? Subjugated? What's their word for it? They're being
clown.
Word.
Clowns.
Clown. Being is clown. That's all.
No, I'm talking about
all motherfuckers is doing is making jokes.
Yeah.
Nobody really give a fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how I'm firing jokes. Like, I guess it would be hard to be that, but let me tell you something. I know something about being hard to be something. So
Right. Yo, I mean,
I start crying for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start crying for me.
We got this universal mind thing going on today, and it started at the line at BJ's when I said Jesus got that one. He got me on that one. That's good. And everything, that's good. But we got this universal mind thing going on here, because I thought that exact same thought today. It's like, while I'm watching this thing, I'm like, these people, they make you apologize or not be able to talk about shit. Like, their pain is so deep. It's so heavy. You can't, oh my God, how dare you say something to me? And in the meantime, they've been calling this nigga forever.